Israel R for $10 says, with the recent lawsuit against Disney from TSG for Hollywood accounting, could other financiers start suing them and others since there is no money coming into the Hollywood?
Well, we actually saw it already with Legendary and Warner Brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was like a distribution issue, wasn't it? It was
similar though, very, very similar.
Project.
The whole thing is kind of under the same purview, I guess, is a way of putting it, because they're basically like
Cash
Warner's.
trap.
Well, Warner's was right out in the open. They kind of had to just like deal with it because it was a COVID thing. This is even a little bit more salacious, I guess, in a sense that my understanding is they're accusing Disney of hiding profits, self-dealing. I'm willing to question whether or not there's a bunch of movies that Disney's not sitting on that they haven't released yet. And these guys could be paying interest on their loans for it, perhaps, and that's another thing where they're costing them money.
Well, TSG, the thing with TSG is as well, just for a bit of context, is that they're also saying that because Disney screwed them out of money, they didn't have the cash to front up for a pre-contracted deal to finance Avatar, which meant that basically Disney screwed them into a situation,
squeezed them out of it.
No, worse, way worse, where 20th Century Fox then had to loan them the money for them to then pay 20th Century Fox back the money to finance the Avatar: The Way of Water. And because of that, then they can screw them out of profits, even more profits. So it's what you're saying, but even worse, because they're like, well, we'll loan you the money that you actually owe us,
and sadly,
now we'll screw you.
We don't know what was in the contracts when Fox bought Disney, when Disney bought Fox out. So there could be things there that this could fall in, more in Disney's favor, but it all depends on exactly what they're accusing them of, what they can prove. Like you said, what projects they have put money in that may not have been released yet. And they could be arguing, we're not getting profits because of that. The other side of it is, here's where I think they have an argument to be made. When Disney has basically been sacrificing all these movies to Disney Plus, right? Yeah. And a great example is, I don't know what deal they made with HBO, but they had Avatar on Disney Plus at the same time. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know how they got away with that one even. Yeah. So I do see some grounds here for TSG to stand on, as far as the other side of it is when we were talking about before, for instance, when we talked about the profits for Ant-Man, where they were claiming what was it, $100 million was paid for the video on demand rights. And it's how does that work when Disney's basically paying themselves? And that's what self-dealing is, right? They're basically taking, $100 million from one pocket, putting in the other, and trying to claim they made that money. It's no, you didn't. That's just you moving money. And in that respect, I think it might not get to court. I think they'll end up paying out like Warner Brothers did to Legendary. It's probably going to cost Disney at the end of the day, though, but we'll have to see how it pans out here. Because I don't think they're going to want to get to Discovery and all that business, too.
No, I cannot imagine they would. Cannot imagine they would want to go down that route. Hell no.
I wish they did, though. Can you imagine that? It would be almost as sweet as the Sony leak. If they had to be amazing. Hand over all those documents.
If they had to open their books and emails,
Yeah, can you freaking imagine that? It's never going to happen. Disney is going to pay whatever, but their problem is they don't have any money to pay. Well, of course, their CFO, he was bragging about the $10 billion in their balance sheet, as if those $10 billion can all be spent on the Hulu acquisition next year, as if they don't have any other expenses that balance is going to go towards. They can use some of that balance towards paying back TSG and get that thing to go away. And they may have to, and which is going to make the Hulu situation even worse, because the alternative is facing Discovery. And that would be pretty darn sweet for us. I don't know how sweet it would be for Disney.
Crippling for Disney. Absolutely crippling. It'd be really, it's going to be an interesting it's never going to happen, but it'll be interesting to see how they sort of front this in the media, because inevitably Disney is going to have to pay them off, I would imagine, to avoid that from happening. So how is it going to be worded in the media? How is it going to be fronted? How is the PR going to be spun? That's the stuff which I find quite, that'll be the interesting. I mean, Discovery will be more interesting, but that will still be an interesting, facet to what we will get, I think.